This is an emergency broadcast for anyone involved with a B2B business, owners, executives, and even employees. When you have people like Gary Vee screaming from the rooftops saying that if you're relying on SEO for your traffic in 2025 and beyond, your business is going to be in a significant amount of trouble. Now, I've been saying this since 2023. ChatGPT is cutting so deeply into Google's business that Google has no choice but to cannibalize and kill their business, Google Search, the most profitable business of all time, in order to compete with AI. Now, this is going to have massive implications for your B2B brands. The reason being, most B2B businesses rely heavily on SEO traffic. I mean, quite literally, there are companies that sold for hundreds of millions of dollars on the back of SEO. That opportunity is gone, and a new opportunity is here. But not many people are taking advantage of it because, people are slow to adapt, people are slow to react, and this is a huge, huge issue. And I wanted to highlight how you can create a moat and keep yourself from getting killed as Google kills Google Search. If you go to Google now and you do a search, you get what's called an AI-generated summary. This is the worst it's ever been. This is the worst it will ever be integrated into Google Search. It's only going to become more and more prevalent. So with an AI-generated summary, they're not sending you to a website. They're just pulling context and information off the web. They have no choice. They have to do this once again if they want to have a business in 10 years, at least in the search realm. However, when you use AI tools like ChatGPT, like Claude, like Grok, like Gemini by Google, they will still reference information on the internet because that's how they get their answers. But the way that they go about it is very different than a search engine would. What these AI tools use is more context awareness. So taking a step back, with SEO, things like backlinks, word count, keywords, these all worked very, very well because the way the algorithm worked, and I'm not an engineer by any means, but the way the algorithm worked was a lot more simplistic than the way that these AI algorithms work. With AI, it's much more built around your brand awareness, who's talking about your brand, all of these different things that come together to create an answer inside of ChatGPT. So for example, I have a friend who is dominating on ChatGPT SEO. He basically helps businesses learn how to DM other businesses on LinkedIn. He is crushing it with YouTube content and even some short form content on LinkedIn. He is always the top reference when I ask ChatGPT about tactics and methods for LinkedIn DMing. So what does that tell me? It tells me that every business needs to focus immediately on creating thought leadership content. Now, thought leadership content can mean a lot of different things. The most common thing is founder-led content. Founder-led content is so effective for multiple reasons. Number one, there's no one that's going to be more passionate about the business than the founder. There's a reason that they started the business. Maybe it's a problem that they were having. Maybe it is something that they feel strongly about, whatever that offer might be. But founder-led content, you can create unique perspectives on the industry that you are trying to create a solution for. So instead of some corporate jargon, some silly advertising campaign from a business that everyone knows does not care about the individuals purchasing the product, a founder can actually build a bit of a one-to-one connection or a one-to-many connection where there is a human behind the business. There is a person behind this conglomerate or this startup, whatever the size of your company. And how do you create founder-led content? Well, there's a couple ways. Off the top of my head, you are going to be getting feedback from customers at all times. Things they love about your product, things they hate about your product. This is all ammunition that you can use in your content strategy. In addition to that, you're going to have frequently asked questions from potential customers and even people that churn and leave the business. A lot of times they will leave feedback and they will give you insights into, hey, this is great. This isn't great. This is a problem. I'm wondering if you do this. I'm wondering if you can help with that. And you can get ahead of a lot of these objections and frequently asked questions by creating this content. And a lot of times what will happen is someone might have an objection. You've created a video about it. They see that video. That builds so much trust. I cannot tell you the amount of conversions we've seen on the back of building trust through founder-led content. So that's honestly a topic for another video, but founder-led content is so effective. What about distribution of content throughout the business? In the past, there was this weird taboo about employees creating content for the business or just creating content in general, because it's like, I don't want them creating a brand for themselves. I want them loyal to the business. Well, we live in a new era now. So if that's your mindset, you need to throw it away and you need to start fresh, because the more distribution you can get, the more free eyeballs you can get. Every single CEO should be encouraging, as a matter of fact, doing everything they can to incentivize people in the business to create content content around the business and the products and the solutions. Yes, this might grow the brand of 1 or 2 employees. Maybe they get so big that they leave, but the attention that they generate for your business will be 100% worth it. We live in an era of content creation. So if you can distribute that amongst the people in your business, this is a slam dunk way to grow without paying millions of dollars for ads. Oh, and by the way, one thing I didn't mention about content, once these pieces start performing well, that is the algorithm telling you, we like this content. That's when you put ad spend behind it, not before you spend $1 million on an ad campaign that doesn't get an ROI. Put out content for free or at cost and see how the algorithm likes it. Simply push it out from there. This is an incredible way to just get that content market fit. I've talked about content market fit. I have a video called 11 minutes of marketing advice, and it's all about content market fit. The thing about content market fit that's so effective is you get to understand what really resonates with the market. And as you resonate with the market through your content, you adjust your messaging in your sales calls, on your website, on your landing pages, in your webinars, in your product documentation. You can get insights into what people want, and you can pivot the direction of your product development, and you can just learn a lot more. You just get way more intent signals from the market. So content is honestly, there is no better way in terms of growing your business, getting feedback for your business, and just creating a moat around your business. Because I have news for you, and this might hurt to hear from some businesses that raise millions of dollars. The ability to create software products is going to zero. It's not quite zero yet, but it will be. I don't care how complex your solution is. The thing that will separate your product from others is the moat and the branding and the connection that you build with that audience. So hear me when I say this, SEO is going away. If you're relying on that, you're in big trouble. The ability to build software that matches your comprehensive solution is getting easier and cheaper by the day. Please hear me when I say you need to create content, ideally founder-led content, even better if it's distributed amongst the business. I know your CEO is busy, I know your founder is busy, but that's where I come in. What I do is I get plenty of content for the business from 1 hour of the founder's time per month. So if this is something you're interested in, let's book a call, let's talk about it. Pretty much guarantee you that I can help you take this to the next level.